Good evening, everyone. My name is Aldrich Jason Chua. Every day I'll be explaining my synthesis. So far I've learned a lot from you the past weeks. But to get to it, what is art? Art is an expression of ideas and emotions through a physical medium. It's a skill where you can help artists from their imagination, their beauty, and even expression. So the art is used for a lot of examples. It could be from literature, haikus or poems, paintings from canvas or paper, sculptures where you could just like paint in, do it in rocks or even marble or any kind. Architecture where you can just create your own idea where you could just create whatever you want to be from a building. Cinema from projectors, theater, live action, live action therefore, and music where you can just be used for drama and other things. And art has evolved during the past centuries, and each type of art has a theme to be made during their time. So therefore, art is named as creativity and imagination in mind for any individuals. So next I'll explain would be the modules I learned from it. So the following modules I'll be explaining is the elements and principles of art movements or even grande timeline, and gender and art, male gaze, female gaze. So the first module I'll explain three materials. The three materials I'll explain would be from the PowerPoint presentation, synchronous games, and Facebook posts. So in the PowerPoint presentation, there are two things that I would like to explain will be from our professor's PowerPoint and from our group. For our professor's PowerPoint, he showed us types of elements and principles in art. For example, is the for example there will be based on from the lines, from the color, from the patterns, from balance, and many more types of elements and principles. And second one from our group project, where we have to identify each element and principles of art by finding a artist from a painter, and once we find that, we have to at least put that in our explanation, and we have to explain why is this portrait based on what we have found from the elements and principles of it. The next is from sync games or synchronous games therefore. In there, it is based on a game where we have to play from our professor, and once we have the answer we have to shout it out or say it out, because it was a little brutal and a little it was fun, but yet requires thinking and has only one correct choice only, and has lots of rules, which kinda let us be more active in this game. In Facebook posts, he showed us like art of the types of art from people who created it, from video or from photos, where it has to explain its background, story of it, or many more. So for my takeaway, for this module, what I would say is that elements and principle art, it is crucial and it is needed, because when you see a canvas with drawings around it, how can you describe it? Can you just say that this portrait is just only nothing but doodles? No, because the elements and principles are needed, because it is like details from it. So if you see a cubism art, you need to at least you need to at least you have to at least like describe it from its lines, color, its shape, or any kind of explanation you want to say. But therefore, elements and principles in art is needed, so you could at least know what to draw, what to make, and what to think, and what to vision. Because form, lines, shape, and color, and many more type of art is important in drawing, important from style, and important from any type of art you want to create. So the second module I would like to say next is from the art moves of Avon Grande, where I explain three materials: the YouTube video, the group works, and the quiz. Now the YouTube videos, we watch a documentary based on art movements, and what we do there, we have to at least know the history of each of art from the prehistoric to contemporary. And what I know from the video so far is from the Baroque, Rococo, Realism. I think realism is something I like. And lastly, and many more. For PowerPoints we made, a professor tasked us to search in a history from each timeline, where he explained each of them and an artist research during this period, even the artwork they used during the people they live. So in the quiz, there were like more than 10 pictures from there, which was a huge surprise because when we expect a quiz, I thought it's gonna be like a given question through identification, but our teacher or professor given us were 10 pictures and we have to identify which is which. So they're all similar but has a different twist, different type of theme in art. So we have to identify which one is correct and which one is the art itself. So therefore, my takeaway there is that I have learned is in art, it has like a theme in there because each artist have created their own theme, their own creativity, their own idea. And without this type of period, how can you be an artist without a paintbrush? How can you be an artist if you do not have a creative mindset? And how can you be an artist if you cannot even think of an idea of inspiration? And without art, how can you create one? And without the cavemen, there won't be art because they're the ones who created. And without realism, there won't be a French Revolution happening. There won't be like anything happening if it wasn't for them. And now, next I'll explain the third module, which is gender and art, male gaze, female gaze. Three materials are shown, which is from YouTube video, a written activity, and a creative response. For the YouTube video, we watch is a bunch of art where we have to think like is this art or not, and what they think is art. While in written activity, we have to watch two videos, where one based on communist painter and one one's like a LGBTQ male where he does art. The both of them did religion, but for the communist painter, he did inappropriate, vulgar acts, I put vulgar items in a religious painting or religious statue whatsoever. But for the other one, he did mocking to religion by cosplaying, which is what for me, not art, but for the written activity. For the creative response, this is what I like because in there you have to create your own art, you have to create your own idea, you have to create your own inspiration from the portrait you create. Either you can just draw, you can just make digital art, you can just like paint, or even you can just do a haiku or any other type. So my takeaway from it is I learned that art, it is like your own point of view. It is like your own idea. It is like how you think art is in your own style. What do you think art really is? So next thing now I'll explain is the outside modules. So in there I'll explain this museum visit, Facebook group pages, posts and shared materials, optional activities and bank activities. So for museum visits, what I would say from both museums is that the SDA is a required, while the other one I went was the De La Salle University Museum. The SDA shows in creativity and imagination of mind, while the DLSU it shows in the childhood memories of a child, even as a young adult or a young teen, to reminisce each time period. And what I've learned in a museum is that both museums represent their own theme of what they would show. Because in a museum, don't expect everything to be the same. Because if it's a national art museum, it might as well be based on the history of the Philippines. So the second one would be from Facebook pages, posts, and shared materials. From there, um, it is used as an inspiration of each painting to help students who have like a love or hobby in art to at least not improve but to at least have a creative mindset to be inspired from that. And what I learned there is that each of them are like idea to help strengthen the mind of others. While the third outside module is from optional activities and bank activities, where from there it is shown and realized that they are like points to gain, and optional activities are like from bank activities because they came from activities we have done during the past weeks of our discussion, and it is based on what you have insights on, and therefore they are like points to gain. So you got these improve more, and so you got these do better more, and it is like what I would say insight of to do better. So lastly, as a student for me, how would I be contributing to the development of as an individual and member of of society is that as a student for me, I can see that this subject can be important depending on who likes art and who is a fan of art. Because for me, I love drawing and sketching. I even have my own theme on my mind, and my favorite material from the module is creative response. Because creative response, you create your own idea, and I did that opportunity itself. And in art designs, it helps me increase my mind and my creativity to create something like not better but create something more inspired from them to help improve my art of what I have chosen from my team. So therefore, in my conclusion, so what I would say is art, it is like depending on what you think. Is this art or not? It depends on your style, how you imagine it, and how you think art it is. In module I have explained, it is shown that what I have learned during discussion from my professor, where for instance he explained the history of art, the elements and principle of it. They're important because how can you at least describe art if you can't even know what art is? And the outside modules for me and the activities, they are like assignments to increase my grades. Sorry. And my contribution to development in art as a student of College St. Benito would be adapting to these lessons, and I have learned too that they put an essential ones into practice as an improvement of my skill. Thus, everything I have learned gave me a realization that art is where everything that is set to your mind.